Exciting series. I mean, this is it. Spirit, he needs to get the 2-0. It's in his arguably weakest matchup. But it's also against a Zoun who has not been in the best form recently. So there is that duality there of this matchup where, yeah, there's a lot of ways that this can go. There's a lot of ways that this can go. We'll have to see. Inside and Out, obviously one of the bigger maps. A lot of bridges. There's 3 bridges on this map, which obviously is a little bit more than we're used to. In fact, it's actually, I mean, I'm not wrong, but there's actually two maps in this map pool that have 3 bridges. Exactly. Now, isn't that just crazy? Conspiracy theorists, do your thing. Anyway. What is Spirit style? How do I describe these? I'm trying to think about what really the kind of I mean, Spirit, it's just like if you took a book and you wrote a book and this book was labeled How to Win as Terran 101, and it just contained the best timing attacks, and it just contained how to play a macro game, and then you gave that to a player and they did that, then you would have Spirit. Spirit plays this really interesting, just very straight up style of macro that is kind of reminiscent to someone like Big Gabe. Very much in that same vein, I think, of those European Terrans where they hit their timings and then they can bring it, if they need to, they can bring it to the late game. This is very interesting here from Spirit, though. And I do like when we see players like this mix it up, because obviously for Spirit, you need 2 wins. Do you just play a standard macro game against Zoun? I don't think so. I don't think, you know, if you play a straight up game, there's a lot that you're risking there. You know, even if you're confident in your macro, like I'm sure Spirit is, late game TVP, obviously it's not his best matchup. I don't think you want to risk going into that without any real advantage. And so, he's going to be proxying this starport. What does that mean? Well, Hellions are going to be driving over there. You're going to be getting a medevac lifting them into the main base. See if Zoun is going to be ready for it. The blink is on the way. Standard Protoss opener so far. Mines, medevacs, the usual. Yeah, we'll have to see. This is going to be, I mean, it's going to be interesting. It should be 3 Hellions usually. Only 2 though from time. And obviously 3 Hellions you do get the 1-shots, but with 2, it's still good enough that you're going to be able to find some success here, especially if there's no units in the main base, like there are not. Stalkers here, they are moving up, but they have no information. As now we're going to see these Hellions push in. The 3 Stalkers, just in the nick of time, going to be able to find their way in. Nice pickups here by Spirit. Going to be able to find 4 probes already. Misfires from Zoun, trying to body block that Hellion. It's still going to try and go in. Excuse me, 6 probes sniped. And 6 probes for the 2 Hellions is obviously a worthwhile exchange here for Spirit. Exactly what he wanted off of this opening. Now he's going to have a Cloaked Widowmine. Such an interesting follow-up here. Second Cloaked Widowmine as well. This is so cool here from Spirit. The starport is actually going to start to be targeted down. Tanks on the way back at home. There's no upgrades for the Marines, so I don't think Spirit is really going to try and contest this. But he's going to go for this Widowmine drop. He knows the Stalkers are out on the map. I mean, Zoun doesn't expect a follow-up. Because why would you expect a follow-up? This just, it doesn't make sense. But here we go. Widowmines burrowing on in. Actually, they don't have Cloak, I believe. I believe I misspoke there. 4 probes in total going down. Starport is sniped, though. Great pick off there for Zoun. As this Marine has just found his way in. Looks for a probe, is not going to be able to get it. And so far, Spirit, I think this has been very successful early game harassment. Not as much damage as I think he wanted with those Widowmines, but still slowing down the Protoss even more. I mean, look how prepared Spirit is at home for these Black Stalkers. He takes no risks. Absolutely no risks at all. Tank in the main base, 2 bunkers, and the natural. Yeah, I mean, Zoun just really can't commit. He doesn't know if there's another Widowmine in that medevac. so he can't really allow his stalkers to get out. And actually 1 minute window mine did survive. So yeah, has to keep those stalkers there. Can't risk that flying back in when there's action happening across the map and finding suddenly, 9 probe kills and the game is blown wide open. But Zoun luckily does have a third base on the way. Does have disruptors in production as well as charge. Playing a very, very similar style here to Astrea. Not surprising. Not surprising at all. They are teammates. He's going to forego the Colossus. And obviously these disruptors coming out before the charge means that you have a little bit less fighting power in the army. And I think that's really the big difference that we're seeing here between these Protoss build orders, is that you're not going to have as many charge lots. You will have disruptors out sooner, but it's a lot more reliant on that disruptor control. If you're not able to do that well, then this becomes very hard because your actual ground army is not as strong as it would otherwise be. The charge is going to finish up with the additional gateways shortly. But it's a massive supply advantage here for Spirit. And I mean, what we saw, like Astrea doing in the last series is even when time was just building up and getting ready, Astrea was consistently staying on top of his production to make sure that he had a massive army, able to fight what his opponent was bringing. But look at this. This is the timings that I'm talking about. 7:15. Spirit walks out. He has +1 stim, combat shields, and concussive shell all finishing up as he's going to get across the map with a third command center on the way. And 4 tanks. I mean, yeah, it's a strong push out. Spirit, though, decides, hey, I don't want to move across the map right now. I have a third command center coming up. I'm not going to risk it. Instead, just loads up a double drop and says that I'm completely fine just applying pressure with this instead. We'll start to move the rest of this army and maybe try and give the illusion that he's heading towards that third base to Zoun. At the same time, he's going to look to hit the main here with this double drop. This command center is going to be floated out here to that third base location. Yeah, double drop into the main here from Spirit. I like what he's doing here with this. And extended thermal lance getting sniped would be big. I think Spirit realizes that, goes for the pylon, shuts down those upgrades. Now going to focus down the robotics bay. Make sure that there's no more Colossus or Disruptor production. That's going to fall. As the response here from Astrea, or from Zoun, it's enough. Disruption, Nova going to be able to get a few of those units. But you just see here the 4 tanks, they absolutely shred through everything at the third base. And Zoun, he needs to be so careful. Spirit looking to do it here just with this. The double drop also going to snipe the 4th. And this is just such a good job by Spirit, splitting up his army. 94 supply of Terran. Just hits this timing attack as well as he possibly can. And look at that, the Widow Mine goes back in. The cannon, of course, gets powered up just in time. But, I mean, Spirit, 3 fronts here. Manages to get out with 1 Medivac of units. As these Colossus trying their best to fight this position. It's shield battery overcharge needs to be popped. The Nexus, though, not in range of the shield battery. Third base goes down. And, man, Zoun, he cleans up the drop, but this is just disastrous. Has had to replant his Nexi. Colossus are doing good damage holding on against this bio, but the position is just so hard. I mean, this shield battery isn't in range. The tanks protect the bio, and so they're able to push into that location. And now it's a triple drop heading out from Spirit. I mean, man, this is just so well done by Spirit right now. Scans that base, is going to be able to see what's going on, but the main, once again, is unprotected. Decides just to go for that. At the same time, Zoun looking to break on out. Zealots on top of the tanks. He's going to be able to clean up that position, but the Nexus is killed. That was not a cancel. You see the kill animation and the scrap left over. As, man, Spirit finding so much success right now here with this pressure, with these attacks. Zoun trying to push this location, but army's just a little bit weak. Finally, the Zealot's going to come through, but he loses a Disruptor. Just a little bit. I mean, careless there. Disruptor getting thrown away. Now no more disruptors for Zoun. No more Novas to try and zone away this army. It's just going to be those Colossus. And has Extended Thermal Lance been re-upgraded? I knew that was canceled. Spirit managed to snipe that upgrade, and so I don't know if that's going back up. Look at that. Look at this from Spirit. Snipes away the Colossi with just a few units on the flank. And that should just be the game. He's going to kite this back. Jones' army is in shambles. GG, Spirit. One game closer to tying it up here for for Kite Z Gaming. Sidestorm's next. Sidestorm's next. Look at this. Look how cheeky. Look at this. Look at this cheeky mofo. What is he doing? What is he doing? Huh? What's going on? Looks like it's just a scout. That's done. Oh. 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 Hmm. All right. Okay. Okay. I see you. I see you, Spirit. Sneaking that SCV across. Obviously, want to avoid the scout of the probes. And so forces the response here as he does manage to get the engineering bay blocked down. Worthwhile for the Terran. Hey, you get 4 probes off mining for your 1. The engineering bay is only 125 minerals. You get most of that back when you cancel it. 94 minerals back. So you only end up losing about 30 minerals in total for this entire endeavor, plus the lost mining time if you're scouting at CV. Whereas you do lose a little bit more there for Zoun. It's 4 workers off the mineral line for about 40 seconds? 30 seconds. It's value. It's value. You take those. But obviously Spirit here just trying to get a small advantage in any way that he can. It's really just... I mean, again, it all lies on him. Right now, there is only one thing in between Kite Z and this game 5, and this game 7, and potentially tying with Team Liquid, sorry, not even with Team Liquid, but tying with Shopify's Rebellion and 1 of Dragon Phoenix Gaming or Sidestorm. One win here to get you to game 7, and then 1 more after that. And honestly, with how the games have been going, like, I don't even know who you throw out. I mean, Time played amazingly. Spirit's been playing extremely well. And obviously you have Raynor, who went 1-on-1 there with Ragnarok. But it's going to be Phoenix play from Zoun. And so, I mean, kind of similar to Astrea, we are seeing the Phoenix. Obviously, the Phoenix offer you a lot more protection against early drops. They allow you to deal with Widow Mines. They allow you to deal with Hellions. So, not surprising that these, that this is coming out here for Spirit. See. Right now, this push coming out. I mean, this is actually a run back here of Time's build. This is very interesting. This is so cool. This is almost a run back of what Time did against Astrea, just kind of in Spirit's style. And then very similarly, Zoun is doing the exact same opening as Astrea. That's so cool that we're getting that kind of mirror. This time, though, Spirit doesn't commit in for the attack. 4 Widow Mines as well for him with Cloak are going to be going across the map. The timing is a little bit off here, so that armory was put down, I think, just a little bit early. Is not going to hurt Spirit in the long run. There's another medevac on the way, more Widow Mines being produced. Hellion is going to scout the fact that the 3rd base is being warped in right now as Probe does get sniped. Both Hellions survive, which is pretty big here for Spirit. Keeping those Hellions alive just means that you have them accessible for run-bys later. They will get caught by the Phoenix, but that means that the Phoenix are not back at home. As essentially the free queue for this medevac to fly on in. Another one is being sent out at the same time. Recall has to be popped. And mind you, these are cloaked. Yeah, you don't get to pick these up. There is no detection. Wait. Observer hasn't been started yet. Where is the Observer for Zoun? This is potentially disastrous. It is back at home. Has finally been brought over. There's another medevac here. Joe needs to pay attention. Pulls away just in time. Pickup's gonna come through. Very nicely done here. And you just see, I mean, the Phoenix, they completely shut this down, even though it's such a heavy committal from Spirit. You just get nothing out of it. The Phoenix do so well, even with the late response time from Joe. And you know what? I said I wanted to see, you know, this like constant Widowmine production and Widowmine drops, and we're getting it. Oh, this could be bad though for Spirit. Oh my. Oh, that instinct. Oh, that's just beautiful. Actually avoids the edge of the map. The Phoenix aren't going to catch the next set of Widowmines that are going across, and that's really big news here for Spirit. Oh, but he puts it still. No, Spirit. Oh no, he left it standing still. The Widowmines are going to get picked off, and that means that, well, yeah, one Widowmine survives, but this has been an extremely heavy committal to these units, and it's just not really worked out here for Spirit. I mean, the Widowmine just have not gotten the value that you want behind this. He's going to be transitioning into 2 base pressure. He's working on additional barracks, stim, combat shields, +1. It's a lot. Bunkers going up. He knows that he needs to play safe because right now Joan is at 62 workers on 3 bases. Has not lost workers. Has not lost workers. And so we'll have to see. Spirit is finally letting down that 3rd base. I mean, this is a very this is just him playing for transitioning, going to the late game. I mean, double bunkers out front. You never see this. And I mean, yeah, Drone just takes it as a cue that, yeah, I'm going to place down my 3rd Nexus or my 4th Nexus. I'm going to get Templar Archives. I'm going to start on my upgrades, I guess, if you're giving me this much space. And Spirit really has to, you know. He put so much into that Cloaked Widowmine harassment for it to get nothing done. And so now you just need to really, I mean, you have to give up map pressure. That's just how it is for Spirit. Ghost Academy is on the way, +1 vehicle weapons as well, has just been started up. So, you know, Spirit is just going to be focusing on macroing up right now. He's at 61 workers. He is going to be able to get up to a very, very strong economy and build a very, very strong army. But it's not going to happen soon enough here, as the Vikings are just going to straight up fight the Phoenix, but there's just a bit too many of them, especially without micro. One Phoenix is going to fall, but the Cyclone now in stasis. Gonna look for that lock on, not going to be able to get it. Yeah, +2 on the way. This is such a hard position here for Spirit, but really, I mean, just doing what he can out of it. 4th command center is on the way, but again, behind it, you've given up complete map control to Joe. You know, it's a 78 worker Protoss. Like, okay. it's Joe's so happy right now. He's got 3 Colossus. He's can work on disruptors. He's adding on a 2nd robotics facility. There's just not a lot that, yeah, Spirit can do. Ghosts, I mean, Ghosts are out, but right now Ghosts are not going to do much. The gold base is being taken in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. With all the agency that Joan has, no reason for him not to. Spirit is going to get ready for this drop. Try and move that out and see if he can find much value with it. The Phoenix are already raiding, but Cyclone going to be able to at least pull their attention away for a little bit. That drop should be able to find this gold base. I don't know if it's going to be able to cancel it, but the 4th base forced to lift off is now Spirit. What is he going to spend his money on? He's actually floating 1,000 minerals. Cancel there on the gold base. Very nice for Spirit, but look at this. The rest of the army getting caught out. Oh no, Spirit! Losing so much as the Colossus just beam the bio to death. As Spirit's still being annoying across the map, but now Zoun is just going to proxy this base pretty much with his army. Yeah, that's the phrasing to use, Titan. But Refinery going to go down. Sensor Tower also going to fall. Nexus goes up in the bottom left-hand corner. It wasn't able to get that base. And now Tempest in production, I mean. Joe's going to have Tempests. What do you do against Tempest here as Spirit? Yeah, I don't know if there's a lot. This drop was scattered. I mean, the vision that Zoun has, he has observers absolutely everywhere. Has a complete idea of what Spirit is doing. And that's a whole lot of nothing. It's a lot of tanks. +2 is on the way, but mind you, once these Tempests come out, the ability for tanks to hold a static line of defense is just, it's going to be non-existent. The Tempest will just push that back because now Spirit deciding that he wants to try and fight here. The EMPs, though, not going to land on much. He used a lot of EMP energy. Orbit into the main, but it's just 2 Zealots because Zoun just doesn't have the supply for any more. Uh-oh. Spirit, you can't really catch this army out of position, and now Zoun getting a little bit of revenge for the last game. Just sitting his army on this base, not letting Spirit take it. And it feels like right now, Zoun, if everything goes as it has been for the entirety of this game, if he's able to close it out, Alpha X should be able to get the 4-2. It's going to take a miracle, an absolute miracle for Spirit to find the win, and this just might be it. Look at it coming from this great concave, but the Colossus just do so much in the flank from the Zealots. Force him back. There's just nothing that Spirit can do right now. Now Tempests are out. They're going to start to chip away here at absolutely everything, and that means that suddenly you have to pull the trigger as Spirit. What do? Your tanks are going to go down. EMP gets the shields off of the Tempest, but that's really not going to be enough. I think Spirit knows it. These Tempests are just absolutely wreaking havoc, and there's really not much that Spirit can do right now. He doesn't have anti-air. He's working on Vikings, but the Vikings are very, very late. 2 extra starports are going down, but Zoun right now is a slow and brutal constriction of Spirit. And now with Tectonic Destabilizers, yeah, there's just not a lot to do. 1 shot's the Vikings now. There is not a lot left here for Spirit. As Zoun, I mean, when are you just going to commit in is the question. You snipe down the tanks potentially, or you just snipe down the Planetary Fortress. Steps a bit too far forward, though. One Tempest does go down, but that's only 1 Tempest, mind you, as the repair comes through onto this command center. And it's just not enough, but now the army is going to commit on in. But look at the splash damage that's available to Zoun, as he is going to absolutely crush through this army. The recall is popped, though. Doesn't want to fight it straight up. Focus fire doesn't come through for Spirit, though. It's not going to be able to snipe any of those Tempests. Not going to be able to snipe any of the key units. And the 5th base is denied again by these pesky Zealots. Oh. That resource is lost is not pretty, man. That's not pretty. That doesn't look good, man. Spirit right now, I mean, you know, there's been so much focus on the contain that Zoun has set up. I haven't even looked at what's going on across the map. Zoun right now, by the way, this collapse though. All the Tempests are low. They're going to start to go down. Spirit Does he find the fight? I mean, the Colossus are now also going to fall. There's so many Vikings that he's built up in this time off of 3 factories. Okay. Spirit making it work, knocks it down. Has a 4th base. Gets rid of that one as well for Zoun and says, no, I am going to find a fight here. You can't get careless. I know that you have 9 Nexuses right now that you're working on. I am not going to let that happen. And now he's going to be able to snipe this one here. Tank siege up. You can't push in with disruptors. And there's so many Vikings that I think Zoun doesn't want to rebuild. His Tempest, no, it's going to be Dark Templar. What is this? What is this? You can't just take that base. That's not fair. This drone just says, I know I can. Yeah, no problem. Don't worry about it. I know that he's expanding to the top side of this map, and now the Dark Templar, the March. They're just going to blink on top of the Planetary Fortress. No time for the repair. The Planetary's down. The workers are going to start to fall. And that means that Spirit now needs to make a move. He can't just sit by idly and do nothing. He no longer has the base that was going to allow him that comfort, as that Purification Nova is absolutely delicious. Now the TD's looking to jump on top of these tanks, and there's just so much here for Zoun. I don't think Spirit can do it. Zoun is going to be able to close this out here for Alpha X. The Vikings land. They try and shred through those Stalkers, but it's not enough. And Zoun, such a good job on this map. Alpha X is going to close it out 4-2. Spirit, what a fight. Just not quite enough.